Jasmine, thank you very much for your patience. This is the Peace Dealer, and here is your natal chart. Of course, we don't have your time of birth. This is what your chart looks like when you have your time of birth. You, of course, will have the rising sign, and the rising sign now breaks down each of these houses. As you can see, these numbers, this AC point is the point and sign that was in the horizon when you were born. Okay, and that marks the rest of your 12 houses. The signs will show you what flavor of okay, let me break that down again. All these signs, of course, represent conscious makeups of our being. So no one is just one sign. Like, you're not an Aquarius, I'm not a Gemini, you're Jasmine, I'm Michael, right? But of course, we have areas of focus that, you know, leave some other areas of focus empty. These are the patterns that differentiate how we kind of express our piece of this pie, right? So the planets are the function. These are what do. The moon feels, Mars has sex, Venus loves, the sun is aware, Mercury thinks, right? So all of this, of course, depending on what sign it is, shows you the flavor with which these functions play out. Mars in Aries wants to act out its function recklessly, rawly, originally, right? And then the houses let you know where these functions with the flavors play out. So this plays out in my 11th house of friendships, right? This focuses my thoughts and awareness on myself, versus 7th house sun, who will focus their thoughts and awareness towards others more flamboyantly and wildly in Sagittarius. Okay, so I wanted to give you that quick recap or intro. Not knowing your rising is cool because the sun also functions as its own first house, since this is your general awareness. And like myself, your Mercury is close to your sun, closer actually. Mercury is now like a megaphone next to the sun in order. We're going to talk about all that. You also have a moon in Capricorn. Welcome to the club. I know you see mine. I know you see welcome to the club. So you're like Kid Cudi and Rakim, like the GOAT celestial. Okay. You're like, you're an elite. Okay. So when you have your moon in the last 3 signs, you're an elite. Moon in Cap, moon in Aqua, moon in Pisces. When you have your sun in the last 3 signs, you're spiritually elite. So you're spiritually and soul elite. This is now the incredible celestial. All right. This moon was right before the new moon. You were born right before the new moon on the balsamic phase. So this is a legendary signature of Aquarius. Whenever we have the moon behind the sun, it's a legendary signature of that sign. So I knew you was and I knew you were an alien too. Like every Aquarius is an alien to me, but you're alien. All right. So I'm gonna give you an alien construct article that's going to, of course, look into this nature of course, this lunar construct, which once again I have as well. I'm familiar with this too. You just have this born in 93 at a higher level, and it is supernatural. Neptune on the moon, you can read souls and auras, right? You can hypnotize others. I know I've done that. Without even trying. There's a certain way we could put others in trance. You could predict election outcomes. You could predict conceptions. You could read the minds of teenagers. I've done all 3 of those. And I want to kind of note that you specifically, right? You see how I have the Gemini sun, Cap moon. Gemini is like the first stage flying Pokemon. Pidgey, Pidgeotto, Pidgeot. Libra is the 2nd stage evolution of Gemini, and Aquarius is the 3rd stage evolution of Gemini, and the stage after Libra. So you see how I'm the Cap Moon Gemini Sun. By Moon and Sun, the 3rd stage will be Virgo Moon Aqua Sun. But just by spirit, you are my 3rd stage evolution. It's like I was the Pidgey who met the Pidgeot. All right. That being said, now, I'm not calling you a bird or a bird Pokemon, but that being said, I just wanted to show you the delineation between me feeling this alien construct in an individual perspective and you feeling it at the highest elite celestial perspective. Okay. So we're going to feel into these dynamics the same, but unlike myself that may have struggled relative to individualizing this focus, you have a broad, collective, universal, knowledgeable awareness, totally with Saturn, because you're a gangster, of this extra dimensional, subconscious, supernatural God power. Okay. I knew you was a queen. But damn, I didn't know you was a elite celestial queen. Okay. So, gangster, here's the article once again. These are the excerpts that would apply relative to this Uranian vessel. I'd love for you to read that because Uranus rules Aquarius. So all Aquarians have a special connection with Uri. And then I also want to show you Pisces ruler Neptune. These are the two excerpts that you can check out in the article. The link will be here when you get the recording to this. Okay. So that being said, now that I've kind of got that slight intro out the way, let's examine your planet, right? The sun, of course, will be this conscious beacon that we can, of course, at the beginning of Aquarius, mark a facet of your personality, or at least conscious expression through. With Saturn in Aquarius, born in 93, is the authority of knowledge. My mom, for example, has Saturn Aquarius. She's a pediatrician. I mean, I know Saturn Aquariuses who want nothing to do with medicine and they pursue acting, right? But Saturn Aquarius is going to represent high knowledgeable authority and discipline. For those who really step into this, it really allows and enables not only the integrity of the way you, one, as an Aquarian, interact with the world like a humanitarian, like a sociologist, but the discipline that is necessary to hold responsibility and hold the collective responsible as well. This is, of course, collective authority. I have mine in Capricorn, as you've seen before, born in 1990, then 93, then by 95 it's in Pisces, coming out in 94. So to have that with your moon here really speaks a lot about your character. Your brain and your consciousness are, of course, out of this world. You are a celestial spirit that has cosmic awareness, and Mercury enables you to now apply this genius of brain processing to think outside the box, but with the grounded structure of Saturn that will make this very serious. Hence your inquisitiveness as you really, come in to discover in a higher knowledgeable way the nature of these humans. I mean, the nature of, other bipedal walking species on this planet. Now, we do have the moon in Capricorn once again, which is going to represent your receptivity. Moon in Capricorns, we don't have the best relationship with our moms because, I know with my mom, thankfully we're on talking terms. We're really good. I just spoke to her yesterday, but we did really clash growing up. Moon in Capricorn, the moon represents your mother, right? Capricorn moons are unfeeling. And now, even though the mom might show emotional support to other members of the family, to us, the way our moms raise us is to not be in our feelings. And that could be through abuse, that could be through, non-abuse, but whether for better or for worse, our relationships with our moms will teach us great emotional control. And as such, it could also represent not really being emotionally nurtured by your mom, right? Whether for better or for worse, once again, it could be for any reason. It's not always a bad thing, but this is just the consequence of that. It makes you a gangster. Okay, but that being said, the moon here behind your sun is going to represent unconscious influences that have your body move on its own in autopilot, and also discern psychically with Neptune and Uranus claircognizantly the nature of others' characters, with this you instantly get it. And unlike myself that plays with the thoughts oh, I think this is what I feel. You're like, oh, I know I'm feeling this person is full of crap, right? Just by the way they move their body, by the way they maybe pick their nose, and now you know they're a serial killer. Very uncanny, nonlinear reflections. And because this opposes Mars in Cancer doesn't really like to be in Cancer, just like the moon doesn't like to be in Capricorn. It wants to be an emotional Cancer where it can just feel and just be irrational and then get moody and I'm happy now and I'm sad again. In Capricorn, it's like, we don't do that feeling stuff. We don't do it. Fix your feelings. Control your emotions. Which is really fucked up because the moon's feelings is not meant to be controlled, but you can't, if you tell me, anyone who tells me it's okay to cry, it's more strong when you cry, I just laugh at them. It's it's okay for you to cry. I shed no tears. Unless my favorite anime character dies, then I will fight tears. But that being said, the influence of Neptune and Uranus directly taps you into the fairy kingdom. It directly taps you into a fantasy and fantastical structure beyond reality, grounded in Capricorn of material reality now, blends in these extra dimensional facets and metaphysical facets in your physical life. So you're feeling how you see real signs, how you tap into that invisible, intangible, personal element between the physical reality and our causal mind and our imagination, blended all together. And that's where your awareness in Aquarius gives you an outside the box, out of this world understanding or awareness to now see how everything connects together. Something that now that you've progressed into Pisces, right, you're starting to develop and apply more into extrasensory perception. And you just started a brand new moon last year, like 2 years ago, where you just started this new moon cycle, which is normal coming into 28 to 30. So congratulations, you're on the divine cycle. And that's something we can really explore in another reading. Should you ever get your time of birth, you're destined for, of course, vision, to create vision. My son is on your south node. People born 93 and 92, I have a past life connection with, and your son is on my north node. So that's why when I met you, I knew, okay, you were even down to help edit videos with me. Aquarius is my career house, so it just felt meant to be. But I always love meeting those of you. I have a really good friend born 93 in Virgo season, directly, and not just me too. Also the Vision. The Vision is a Gemini. You have a connection with him like that, and every Gemini. Like, I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for the Vision. You as a celestial queen, as an elite celestial queen, you come from the realm of angels. The South Node Gemini destiny axis is you're using the truth and your mindset in order to show people the meaning, right? Gemini is the word, Sag is the meaning of the word. So you have the word. It's very comfortable for you to communicate and to tell people the truth, most with which may not listen, but you have to show it to them. You have to challenge yourself to show collectively and change the universal perspective of the meaning of truth. No biggie. That being said, of course, this moon in Cancer is going to represent deep emotional power and potency that could be limited and restricted relative to your comfort zone and not willing to take actions outside your comfort zone. But it forms this grand water trine, so this is actually really good. Venus is exalted in Pisces. You have an unconditionally loving heart that, can I say it? Excuse my language, fuck boys, or just, people who are full of shit will take full advantage of, because they see, oh my God, she just sees into my greatest potential and she's so nice, not knowing you're the elite celestial queen that can chop someone's head off, but you still have this unconditionally loving heart that if you allow people to, they will take full advantage over. And maybe after getting hurt, sometimes you realize, okay, humans do not deserve my divine heart. Okay, this is a divine heart. Everyone, males and females who I've read with this, go through this issue. Unlike the analytical Venus and Virgo that has a list and it's not going to date you if you don't have A, B, C, D, E, and they're more nonsense. You're more willing in the first 30 years of life to give people the benefit of the doubt, and this is the most beautiful thing about you. But of course, now that it's matured, I think there's more wisdom around this, and it represents how you polish the state of your imagination and ability to imagine. So this is going to really represent those rose-tinted glasses that, even though you have a grounded soul and an intellectual, detached, objective spirit, your heart is still in love with love and the idea of love. And now that perspective and imagination is going to influence what direction you feel you take action towards. Sex especially is going to be emotionally driven, which can clash with the more detached nature of your soul, but balance it properly. Albeit, it's also going to be unconventional. And Mars opposite Uranus and Neptune is like a dog that barks at someone that they don't trust. And I mean, on the surface, that's irrational, but the dog could be picking something up, right? And then your moon will know how to feel and organize a lot of these actions you take. Very unconventional, but when it works, it works. And then, of course, the potency of feeling that drives these actions and desires intensify here in Pluto, which is a social sign in Scorpio that will transform not only the intensity of what you're feeling, but then provide that intensity to influence the perspective of what more you believe about that boom grand water trine capable of deep emotions. Hence the Capricorn moon in between that really grounds, directs, and controls this. Now you have Jupiter in Libra, which is really an expansion of social potency. And as an Aquarius sun, your ability to now exalt the higher meaning of socialization, interpersonal relationships, amongst other things. And Chiron in Leo opposite Saturn Aquarius is like a very, courageous performer, on American Idol that is getting stonewalled by Simon Cowell every time. Like, you suck, you got to do better. Or just, you know, being in a audition and like you're having to bleed vulnerably through the heart against this stonewall sense of like just uninterestedness. But it's important because it provides the good criticism and authority so that you don't fall into just being vulnerable and bleeding from the heart. Chiron in Leo heals the courage to actually express one's talents. Heavily, heavily wounded by Saturn at its worst, but supported and constructed at its best to align knowledge and intellect and passion. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Definitely looking forward to your feedback. And until next time, peace.